Okay, everybody, it's me. Still. Yep, still me. I felt that. Anyway, yes, Friday, July 22nd, 2022. Wow. And thank you for all those, thousands and thousands of happy birthday wishes for me. And I greatly appreciate that so much, more than you know. We, you and I, we're a big family. And I like to think of us all that way. With that said, let us now move forward. Let's talk about the freak show stock market, more so what's happening here with the 10-year yield. I know you're watching this. It's unprecedented what we have seen just in the past couple of days. We know what's going on here, but today it didn't work. A massive effort, and I mean massive, over the last 2 days to get in here, central banks, Federal Reserve, and push bond yields down. You know, there's been a lot of talk for quite a while about yield curve management. Well, you're seeing it in your face. And our economy continues to crumble. I want to cover a few things with you as well moving forward. Not going to be a surprise to you, but we need to just, put a little light on it. Understand? People are being duped, as you well know, into believing something that is just not true. And I'm referring to the nonsensical dog shit wrapped up tightly with cat shit and sprinkled with bird shit propaganda that the economy continues to grow. We're not growing. By the Federal Reserve's own measures, we are contracting. But the lie must be kept in your face. The more they tell people something, the more people are apt to believe it. And the more extreme it is as well, the more apt people are to believe it. And that kind of mechanism has been used for a very long time. How about time immemorial? That's my favorite thing to say. Lulling people into a sense of, learned helplessness in a way too. Again, a lot of people realize what's going on. That is, the economy is crumbling around us. Inflation is nowhere near peaking, although they're starting with that nonsense again. It's not peaking at all. We're not even close as central banks continue to inflate. I mean, let me ask you, we're friends, right? And it is my birthday, so I won't lie to you. Who would buy this? The nonsense that inflation is in any way, shape, or form, peaking, topping out, whatever it might be. We keep hearing the same stories being repeated over and over again. When you have central banks buying it all, it's just not going to stop. But let's not forget, central banks are raising the overnight rate incrementally. As a matter of fact, this is huge. Are you ready? The European Central Bank, they raise rates to zero from negative, and that's really, really gonna stop inflation from surging. No one's buying it. I don't think so, at least. I don't know, maybe some brain-dead, zombified, mummified creatures like our lovely president would buy it because he's half brain-dead or maybe fully brain-dead. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide. I think you know my take on that. But that's the story here. Now, with that said, yes, the stock market fell under pressure today, especially the NASDAQ, which did put on the biggest gain as of late. Like I told you, $52 billion subsidy by the government. Oh, it's the government. No. Where do they get the cash from? We don't have it. We're broke. It's got to come right out of the Federal Reserve. Everything does. That's the mechanism here. When you're a nation that just happens to be the largest debtor nation in the history of the world, with no negative net worth at all, where does the cash come from? Do they suck it out of the people who have already been completely sucked dry? Seriously? Or is it just magically created by central banks? Oh, they are more than willing to lend. You have to understand, that's the goal. Central banks here, their end game is to be the lenders and buyers of last resort. So when you hear about a spending program, if you hear about money we're sending over to this country, that country, the other country, this cause, that cause, build that, build this, whatever it might be, or crisis to crisis to crisis, Well, it's the central banks who are there to continue to, add digits to a screen. And they're more than happy to do that because this is the takeover mechanism here. There is nothing, like I always tell you, is what it seems to be in this environment. But keep your eye over on that 10-year yield. You can see it's in your face. Today, as a matter of fact, the dollar did reverse lower. Meanwhile, silver got hit. Gold put on a slight gain. Cryptocurrencies got hit today. Crude oil got hit today as well. And I believe we're going to see more of an effort here to push cash back into the stock market as well. And how that more than likely will manifest itself, I would not be surprised to see the 10-year yield drop to 2.5, 2.6. But that's because the Fed isn't buying anything anymore. No, they're not. And they don't use their trading desk for anything. No. They just, sit on it and rotate or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you do. That's the situation. Now let me just touch on a few other lovely pieces of information here. So this is further economic news that we got today. The U.S. Services PMI has fallen into contraction, but again, you're not supposed to know this stuff. We're booming. We're doing fantastic. Here's another piece of information that you need to know. Nearly half of American citizens are saying that they will need to take on more debt as inflation continues to surge out of control. More people are relying on their credit cards. This has been going on for quite a while. I've spoken about it here many months ago. More people are relying on their credit cards just to make ends meet. You see this mechanism here. I've covered this at length with you to the point of nausea. It's not going to stop. This is what they need to do. Central banks colluding with corrupt governments run by mummified presidents. They don't matter at all. You understand? It's the central banks that run the show. They need more slaves to the system. And this is how they're doing it. By making people desperate. I told you this for I don't know how long now. The current environment is being set up by design this way. Again, you have central banks raising rates supposedly as they buy things through the back door. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that too. Yeah, I think you got my picture on that one. Yeah, a little backdoor action there as they continue to buy it all. All this is doing is exacerbating the underlying problem, ballooning global debt. So think about it. Like I said, a couple days ago, yesterday, when we were booming, supposedly booming, our economy was rah strong. You remember, look at the stock market every single day. You know who I'm talking about? Why were central banks not raising rates then? Oh, they just happen to be doing it now as the economy is crumbling? It's an attack. How many times have I explained to you, members of the middle class, if that's you, go look in the mirror. You might not see it there, but there is a tattoo on your face of a target. You understand? And you're being eliminated. You're being exterminated on a grand scale, globally, as a matter of fact. Let us move forward here with more lovely economic news. So more CEOs, chief executive officers of major corporations are saying that they will be raising prices, cutting costs, and reducing the size of their workforce as the economy slows. But hold on a minute. I don't understand this. Why is it that the propaganda is economy strong? The Federal Reserve has even got every single meeting. We're going to hear from the Fed this next week. We'll talk more about that. These are the words they use. Our economy is progressing at a moderate pace. Progressing where? Towards contraction, contracting further. See, and they will raise rates as appropriate. They'll do this as appropriate. They love that word, appropriate. And as a matter of fact, they're going to tell you about all of their tools. They have lots of tools. Yeah, they have lots of tools. Now, one tool, that's how they manipulate debt. That's all they can do is issue debt and manipulate it. So when you hear again some freak being paraded out on the mainstream telling you about Federal Reserve tools, you understand that you're listening to someone that's literally and going out of their way to deceive you. A society of deception and lies. And that mechanism is going to get progressively worse here. Lastly, on the economic front, something you need to know about, and this is a terrible thing as well, the cost of renting a home or an apartment now is at a new all-time record high. And let me let you in on a little secret. We're not done by any means. So again, the narrative seems to be inflation is peaking again. It's a lie. Yet again, the last time they said it was peaking, that was a lie. The time before that, they said it was peaking, that was a lie. It's all a lie. Nothing is what it seems to be. Like I'm telling you, it's just out of control. But we have each other, and I think that's the most important thing to understand. Look, we're going to get through. If we understand the environment, we know who the enemy is. Public enemy number one, the Federal Reserve. Forget about John Dillinger. Federal Reserve made John Dillinger look like Mother Teresa. It's incredible how they point their fingers at an individual or whatever it might be, and you got the most corrupt organization the world has ever seen, and it's central banks around the world, none more so than the Fed, because why? U.S. dollar still remains the world reserve currency, and they will kill, maim, slaughter, butcher millions, tens of millions of people to make sure that mechanism stays in place. It'll never stop. The debt-based economic model, as I have explained to you, is a curse. It's a curse upon the world because it's designed to create slaves, nation slaves and individual slaves. I thought the Emancipation Proclamation and freed the slaves. All that's been happening here is more slaves have been created than ever before, and they're sent off to fight wars and every other dog shit thing, to die and have their guts splattered all over the place to support the system. That's the truth, and you know it. All right, people. Look. With that said, it is Friday, so what you and I are going to do is what we always do, because it's the right thing to do. Okay? Bring it in. No one's looking. Bring it in. Come on, it's my birthday. It's my freaking birthday. So bring it in. If you've never brought it in before, bring it in now. You ready? Love each other. Care about each other. And be charitable. We got to live by these things. These three things. If we just live by these, we can change the freaking world. If we don't, we're going to watch it fall apart just like it is. So, with that said, you will see me on Sunday for my markets a look ahead. I will do that. It's going to be just lovely as usual. And I hope all of you have a supremely perfect and lovely and, of course, beautiful weekend. And, well, that's it. I'll see you Sunday. Thanks again for the happy birthday wishes. And I love all of you. I really mean that. I'm out of here.